Evening all, I thought I'd do a quick video on how I sweep my wood burner. The wood burner in question is a Morso Dove and it's around about 10 kilowatts. So I do this myself, and I bought this kit a few years ago and I think it's a real simple method. Prior to using this, I would have had to go onto the roof and use some traditional draining rods, and that's obviously a real pain. So I use this kit from Rod Station. These are British made, I think they're based in Wales, and they're great to deal with. And after quite a bit of research, I decided to go for this kit. I can't just remember what it was called. They sell loads of different types, but it has these 1 meter long sections, and I think I've got 10 meters. To be honest, I probably could do with a few more. And basically you put that end in the drill and you put your brush attachment on the end. So I've got two brushes. There's this one here and this one here. It looks like a strimmer. So I tend to like this one. I've used this one once and I thought, well, this is much easier to use and seems to do a pretty good job. So that's what I want to use today. So as well as that, you need a bag, a bit of string to tie around the flue, and obviously a battery drill. And in addition to that, I've got some 1-inch pipe that I'm going to put a hole in the bag and stop the soot from getting into the room. On this fire, the flue comes out the rear of the stove. Now, if your flue comes through the top, then obviously you can go through the door of the fire. So, looking around the back, that's where my obviously flue comes out of the fire. So first thing I do is take this cap off. I've got a few screws that just hold it in. So on that side, pop around to this side, take that one out, and now the cap on the flue should come out. Try and position my bag to catch all the ash. Oh, there's quite a lot of soot in there. That's probably why it's not quite drawing as well. So I'm just going to arrange this bag, get it all nice and neat, and I'm going to tie the bag around here. Okay, so I've just lifted the bag up, and next I've got my tube, and I've joined two of these rods together. So these rods are quite flexible, so you can, they're really strong and really flexible, really good quality. They've got these alloy ends with these clips that are really good. So you can get much cheaper kits on eBay. I wouldn't touch those. If these rods snap up your chimney, then obviously you've got a real problem trying to get them back out. This kit, so this 10 meter kit plus some brushes, was sort of between £400 or £500 a few years ago now, I think. So once I've got this tube, I'm going to thread these rods through the tube, and then I'm going to put a brush attachment at the end and pop it up the flue a little bit. Okay, so I've got 2 meters of rod running through my 1-inch pipe. I put a hole in my bag and I put the strimmer head attachment on the end. Sorry, I don't know what the technical name for it is. And then I'm going to shove that up the pipe a little bit. Like that. So the purpose of this pipe is that, obviously I made a little hole in here, so I can then fasten the pipe around the flue without risking any ash coming out. So there's not a lot of room at the back to film, and the light isn't great, hence why I got the torch. Okay, almost ready to start. So I've tied my bag onto the flue. I've made a little hole in the bag where my 1-inch pipe goes through. The 1-inch pipe is then zip tied onto the side of the fire to keep it still, and then I've got my rods going up through that 1-inch pipe, and of course I've got the drill at the end. You put your drill in speed 1 setting, the slowest setting. So if I pull the trigger, Obviously, it rotates the strimmer head inside and cleans the flue really well. It sort of makes minimal mess. I've made quite a bit of mess so far, but it's just that initial lump that came out of that can at the bottom. I haven't brushed this chimney for a while. Last season we burnt nearly 10 cubic meters of wood, so we do put a lot of wood through this fire. Okay, so I just turn it on and push the rods up the chimney. They go up relatively easy, and then when I get to the end, I'll take the drill attachment off and then I'll stick another meter long on. Okay, so now I'm ready to put another meter long section on. Okay, I've got 10 rods up the chimney, and a little bit of soot comes out the pipes. Obviously the pipes up through the bag, and yeah, but generally it's not too bad. So there's quite a bit in this bag. So I forgot to say that this chimney is quite elaborate. It does go up and turn 45 degrees a few times, so we tend to get soot that rests on these 45-degree bends. So when the rods go up is when you hit these 45-degree bends, and obviously a lot of soot drops in. The rest of the flue is fairly clean. So now I've got the 10 rods up. I'm going to just turn the drill on and obviously pull them back out. I don't need to reverse the drill or anything, they just come out relatively easy. I forgot to mention, I undo the vent a little bit at the bottom, just so in case any sort of soot and dust go out of the chimney rather than come back down into the room or anything. I don't know whether it works, I think so. Eight of the rods are in the bag, and I've still got 2 just in this little bit. So what I do now is I then take the bag off and then take the rods out and put the end cap in, and obviously hoover up before the wife gets back. So before I put the end cap on, I'm just going to check inside, make sure the hole is clear through. So this Morso is quite good. You can take off all these bits here, and then you can access the flue at the back. So I'm going to just vac it around there a little bit, just to neaten it up. You could probably get your rods up through the inside of the fire, and there'll be a lot less mess. But I think you get a better job if you go through the back, potentially less strain on the rods as well. Okay, that's about it. So end cap back on. cleaned up. I think I've hid the evidence fairly well. There's ash in here, or the soot rather. It's probably, I don't know, like a small child's bucket full, maybe a little bit more, 1.5 little small buckets. So usually sweep the chimney once or twice a season, and obviously it's due for a clean. The drawer wasn't quite as good as what it is, and obviously if I light it now, it's absolutely perfect and good to go, and it will easily last us till end of the season. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to give me any tips or advice, and comment in the box.